Let me know if you guys have audio and video. Let me enable my my comments. 1 second. We can get this thing started. All right, you guys have audio? You guys have audio and video? Type on in for me. If you guys have audio and video, let me know. That is so funny. That is so funny. All right, great. I saw Adzar said, not yet. Yusef is teaching patience without teaching it directly. Very wise statement there. That's exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. All right, you guys are able to hear and see. All right, so listen. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disable. I'm going to disable comments for some time. All right. 1 second. Let me see if you guys can see me. What's going on? What's going on? You guys see me? What's going on? All right. So I'm working from. All right. Great. What's up, Thomas? Thomas, one of my originals. Speller Jr., what's going on, brother? Good old Norfolk, VA in the house. That's right. All right. So I just want, I'm gonna let more people join on in. We're at 1:15 right now. We have a couple messages. Barry said 11 p.m. here. Antoine, what's up, brother? All right, so listen. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disable comments, and I'm going to disable the whole chat, okay? And for obvious reasons, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I may open it up again, but I'm going to disable it right now. All right? And which is going to be a great segue into starting. Share something with you guys. Now, the reason why I decided to disable the comments is, let me get this out of the way. You guys can see my screen, right? Well, you guys, you know what? Let me do this. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and enable it for now because I need interaction. I love to have interaction. All right, you guys can see the screen. You guys can see me at this point, right? All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out of the whole mix. That way you guys can see just the screen. All right. All right, great. Because you guys don't want to see my funny looking self. You guys just want to hear the voice. You guys want to be able to move along with exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So listen, before we get into the actual lesson, I need to go over the rules for this training. I know that a lot of you are not students of mine. A lot of you are aspiring students. You guys may have conversed with me by way of email, maybe Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So the rules to this training, and just like any training that I have, the rules are as stands. We have a chat right here, okay? And one of the first messages that came in was a bit vulgar. There was profane language, and I had to get rid of the person. I do not want to do that. All right. One thing that I do is I move by a certain current. All right. And I do things a certain way. I work to be professional at what I do. I do not need to have the chat room to be a distraction, not for me or anyone else. Okay. There are some topics that I'm going to cover tonight that I need all of you to be attentive for. I need you guys to pay attention. I need you to take down notes. I need for you guys to make good use out of being here. Okay. Me setting aside time to do this is for a purpose. I want you guys to be aware of what it is that I'm talking about. And I just need for you guys to know exactly like my stance on trading Forex, how I've become successful, and things that you can do to better your positioning inside of the market. Okay. Now, of course, most of you, if not all of you, are here because of one reason. Okay, and I already knew that having this training, it would attract lots of people, because I'm going to talk about a topic that most people have echoed in the market, but so many have lost. Okay, a lot of people have talked about scalping the market. Okay, but unfortunately, there are just a lot of people who do not know how to scalp the market, because they they're not patient enough. Maybe it's because they got caught up with the wrong group of folks who brought them into the market. It could be 1,000 different reasons. If any of you are brand new to Forex, and most of you probably gonna be surprised by me saying this, but if you're brand new to Forex, you're probably doing yourself a disservice being here for some of the topics that I'm going to talk about. All right, I truly believe that trading Forex you should start from a long-term perspective. You should start learning how to trade long-term when you start trading. Learning short-term it's not smart. It's just the opposite of what you should do. All right. Some people they believe that because sessions close faster, they'll make faster money. And what I mean by that is they think that, okay, I've been taught to trade off of the 15-minute chart. You guys know those folks that teach to trade off the 15-minute chart. I've been taught to trade off the 15-minute chart, and off the 15-minute chart, those candles are going to close faster. So I should be able to make faster money. But it's just an illusion. It's just the opposite of what it is. Whether you're looking at the 1 second, the 1 minute, the 1 hour, the 1 day, the 1 week, or the 1 month, the price would still be the same. 1 pip gained on any of those time frames, you would still make the same currency. The only difference is the way each pair, or not each pair, but the way each chart, the time frame, is set up. So do not fall into the trap of thinking that I'm gonna start off scalping and I'm gonna make it big. That's not to say it can't happen. I don't want to shoot anyone's dreams down by saying that you cannot be successful by trading or learning to trade Forex on the scalper side first. That will be a lie, and I'm not going to begin to tell you guys that. What I do believe is that, me personally, I know that my walk was, I did everything. I tried everything, being anxious. When I learned how to scalp, I learned how to trade long term. I learned how to scalp effectively, but I love to trade long term. So I stuck with long term more so than scalping the Forex market. Okay. Because of that, my focus has been training people to trade long term. Scalping is second tier. We're going to teach scalping later, and that's how I designed the Sotomayor Forex movement. Now, rightfully so, scalping the Forex market is extremely profitable, provided you know what to do. You have to know how to scalp the market. I can teach people. I can teach people how to trade long term. I can teach people how to scalp the market. It doesn't really matter which angle. What I would rather do is I would rather teach people to trade long term, because if I teach you how to trade long term, you should learn you should know how to scalp the Forex market. Don't let me lose you guys. Just follow along. All right, follow along. Don't let me lose you. Now, if you guys are anything like me, and I know that I have a number of aspiring Forex traders who are inspired by my walk, but I want you guys to know my walk is no different than yours. I've struggled in the market. I've blown a number of accounts, which made me sit back and realize, okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong? How could I basically eliminate a loss? How could I become anonymous in this Forex market? I'm going to open up the chat real quick because I have a question. Actually, no. I actually don't have a question. I'm going to actually tell you guys what it is. I don't have a question. I'm going to tell you guys this. Man, I want you all to write this down, whether it's on your actual tablet, the tablet of your heart, whatever it is, write it down somewhere. In order to become anonymous in the Forex market, how do you trade being anonymous? Think about that for a second. How do you trade being anonymous? How do you prevent yourself from being sought out? How do you prevent yourself from being recognized in the market? How could you prevent people from exposing you? How do you prevent yourself from exposing yourself? See, everything that I've ever taught, everything that I will teach is all the same. It's no different. I'm going to touch on some topics tonight that's going to make you guys think a little. Some of you, some of you may resonate with what it is that I'm saying. Some of you are students. Some of you probably already know some of the things that I'm going to talk about already. But however, I want you guys to know, in order for you to become and remain anonymous in this market, you need not to expose yourself. Sometimes the loudest person talking is the weakest person in the room. Sometimes you got to watch how I move. I don't care to be the loudest person, but I make moves. Now, there are two things that I want to let you guys know, and I know that I go totally against the grain. I read a comment in here. I see someone chimed in and spoke up about it. Some things I don't have to speak on because people know how I am. But there's a topic. There are two things that I want you guys to know about any platform that you may use. Some of you already know. Those two things. Let's go to my black screen. Those two things stop loss and take profit. Now I'm going to go back to a topic that I'm going to go back to a sentence that I said earlier, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. If anyone's here, if anyone is listening, anyone on the sound of my voice right now, if your heart really isn't with me, I beg you and I urge you to quickly disconnect. I know some of you like, huh? What is this guy talking? Why is he saying this? See, I move by my own current. I don't let people move me. I move by my own current. Anyone sitting here under the sound of my voice, I don't expect you guys to 100% believe everything that I say or all of my concepts. I don't expect anyone and everyone to follow all of my concepts because people come up with their own and it may be effective for them. I get it. But I want you guys to know that, going back to what I said before, there are a couple things that they've created in this platform that that will expose you and expose you. Stop loss and take profit. A lot of you already heard this, but I'm not using no stop loss or take profit. I'm not going to do it. Why am I not going to do it? Well, it's common sense. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. This training is going to be based on logic. See, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I shared this with my students at one point. I had come back to I came back home. You know, whether or not you guys know, I'm from the DC area. And I came back home. This is sometime, I guess I was in town from, I don't know. I guess it was sometime either last year or the year before last. And went to a bank. Actually, I'm going to save that story for a little later. I'm going to give you guys some stories tonight. I'm going to save that story for a little later. But I want you guys to know that this training is going to be based on logic. I want you guys to have in the back of your mind, how could you become anonymous in the Forex market? How do you prevent yourself from being overexposed or even exposed in the market? How do you take yourself away from being exposed in the market so you're anonymous so that no one knows what you're thinking? See, I don't want people to realize what it is that I'm thinking. I don't want people to know what it is that I'm thinking. I don't want people to even be able to guess what it is that I'm thinking. I like to be anonymous. I want you guys to know that while many of you have come here tonight to learn how to scalp the Forex market, or let's say make fast money, a lot of you have been taught to make moves in a market that doesn't follow any type of logic. If I want to go out and do something that's risky, if I decided to be one of those guys that go out and rob banks, I'll use that analogy. I don't want a whole bunch of rules and requirements. I don't want to have to do all this stuff. I need a simple plan. Let me get the money and be out. That's it. I'm not standing around waiting for the police to come. I'm not waiting for no sirens. I'm not going to give no one the opportunity to catch me. I'm going to get in and I'm going to get out the market. Now there are two steps to getting away, or let's say executing the plan. If the goal is to rob the bank, get away scot-free, then first you have to get in the bank and get what it is that you want. Then you have to get out. So you get in there, you got the money. Now you have to have a plan to get out the bank, get out of the bank. So guess what? If you know how to trade, if you're gonna scalp anybody's market, and someone's teaching you to do all of these different things that are just causing you to lose, you need a simple way. And for one, what goes against anybody's grain is telling you, I want you to over leverage your account so you can be widely exposed. On one hand, yes, you can crush the market, but on the other hand, guess what? You can lose. It's a risky market. Doesn't matter what size of account you have. It doesn't matter. It's a risky market. Whether you have a lot of money or a little bit of money, you're trading on a risky market. So if the market is risky for everybody, how is it that we can create a more probable situation to win? Think about your stop loss and your take profit. Think about your exposure. Think about being anonymous, remaining anonymous in the market. Why is it that I want to trade on a market and use a stop loss? Now, I get it. I know that some people, they use them because, some people rather lose their money. They'll rather lose a handful of dollars than to get wiped out. I get that. Trust me, I get it. But not everybody have the luxury of watching the charts, which is, of course, why they use stop loss to begin with. But again, not everybody has the luxury of watching the charts. Even if you decide to watch the chart, the flip side of that is you have some people, they don't know when to get out. So if you're watching the charts and you're using a stop loss, you're allowing them to come and take your money. Now, yes, you can use a trailing stop loss if you're in profit, but even still, you shouldn't have to use any type of stop loss. You shouldn't have to. I know I don't want to use a stop loss. I'm not going to use a stop loss. And I don't use it. I never will. Now, take profit. I have a different little feel about take profit. Take profit is I can sort of reason with take profit, but not really. Sort of, but not really. Because see, I don't want to limit the amount of money that I'm going to make either. I don't want to set a cap on it. But there are times where using a take profit or even a stop loss might be worth your while. It may save you. If you're going to use the take profit, you better know which way that market is going. Okay? Know which way it's going. I'm not condoning it, but I'm just telling you. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a video that I had made. This is earlier this year when I first started talking about training folks on the scalping. And if you guys remember, I told you guys that I had. No, that was another video. There was one video when I had traded on demo, and I publicized that. I said, listen, I want you guys to see what it is. And you guys may remember, opened up some trades and I fell asleep. and it was, of course, it was on demo. Fell asleep in the market that went in the direction I already knew where it was going to go. But those didn't count. But there was another time when I was scalping the market, same situation. Only difference this time I was live. And I mean, I was like up to like the wee hours of the morning. I'm telling you, not even, I mean, it was probably near getting light outside. That's how late I stayed up. And I was forced because of the situation, I was forced to use the take profit. I was forced to because I knew where it was going, but I wasn't going to stay up any longer. I was exhausted. And of course, it went in my direction. But it's like, man, when you have the market just moving about, if you can stay up, and if you can watch the market. Matter of fact, one second, you guys. I'm getting one second. Are you guys one second. Let me go back to enable the live. All right. Are you guys experiencing any buffering? Anyone experiencing buffering? Okay. I mean, maybe this is just YouTube. They're saying that there's some buffering. My stream is bad. Okay, all right. I just wanted to check. Want to make sure you guys can see. So, and everything is kosher. All right, I definitely appreciate you guys. All right, so let's go back. Let me disable. All right. All right, so yeah, and you know that situation, I was really exhausted, and I knew where it was going to go, and my target where I knew it was going to go, I just said, you know what, let me just take it here, and I'm fine, because like when you're scalping the market, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know that, you know, I don't want you guys to expect, I don't want you guys to think that you're going to make a mortgage note in one sitting. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. But how people are teaching to scalp the market is to go against any type of money management plan that anyone could employ. All right? I don't do that. One thing anyone would tell you who goes through any training, any of you guys who are here, you guys know I preach about having strength. All right, over leveraging your account. When I have students who say, "Man, Mr. Scott, Yusef, man, I feel bad that I gotta tell you this, but I blew my account. But it wasn't your fault. I stayed in too long, or I was over leveraging." And that's usually what it is. Students they over leverage, or people, traders, they over leverage. So I want you guys to know that's something that we have to make sure we keep a close eye on, close grip on. All right. Now, I talk about not exposing yourself, and that has everything to do with see, everything goes hand in hand. When you over leverage your account, they're gonna watch you. They can see what the majority are doing. They can see the majority of people who are getting in at certain places in the market, and they say, you know what? I guarantee you, we send this market down real quick, there's gonna be total chaos. People are gonna panic. They're either gonna lose their money, lose their shirt, close out real quick, accept the loss, and then all we're gonna do is we're gonna send the market right back up. And that's what causes people to say, "What gives? Like, I thought I had a handle on this." And you actually did have a handle on it. Like I tell my students, you guys are excellent traders. I can show anyone the trend. If you can see the direction the market is moving in, you should be able to trade that market. All right? Now, unfortunately, scalping the Forex market is extremely risky. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you guys already know this. You have these candles that will open. Let's just say this is the day candle. You have 4 parts of this candle. From this point to this point could be easily, let's call it 182 pips. Easily. Okay? And as a scalper, depending on what day you scalp the market, you have to trade within that zone. 182 pips. Now, within that zone, you have an area that was actually sort of like a rejection zone. That's from here to here, and from here to here. Meaning, if you got in anywhere between here On a sell, you could be at a loss. If you got anywhere between here and here on a buy, you could be in the negative. This is elementary. We all know this. But I have to explain this because it's still important. We can't forget about it, you know? In between the open and the close, of course, is the difference between if you add up these two areas, you know, and so whatever's left from here, that's what this is. It's all elementary. You guys know what this is. You guys know what this is about. But you see, the problem is, as a scalper, we have to look at 182 pips. And then everyone's trying to teach, hey, trade off of this chart, trade off of that chart. No, don't do that, do this. Hey, throw in this indicator, throw in that indicator. When really all you have to do is focus on the trend. Something that I have not talked about tonight or this evening as of yet, which is hugely important, is discipline. I don't care how many training sessions you guys sit in on. You guys could sit in on this training session for 10 hours and probably a quarter of you would walk away with a new mindset, a new perspective, and willing to adopt it and apply it to the market. The other 3/4, a portion of you will still be a little lost. You may say the information was a little vague. It wasn't as clear as I had hoped. But some of you, you're just going to go back to the usual way of trading. I'm not going to follow nothing. I'm going to do everything under the sun. Everything that someone tells me to do. Hey, look at the UJ. It's going to do this. And you go look at it. You think you know what you're looking at. You don't know what you're looking at. You get wiped out. You work a couple more weeks, add money into your account, you do the same thing. Now you tell yourself, I'm never going to do that again. But all of a sudden, you say, you know what, I'm not following that group no more. I'm not. You find a new group. And now you're following that group. And here they go. They tell you, listen, look at this pair. It's doing this. Yep. Daggone it. He did it again. He messed up. I want you guys to know the best discipline is to follow what you believe. Learn to see what it is that your eyes could tell you and reveal. Of course, the reason why you guys are here because you guys are looking for insight. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you guys, nothing wrong with that. A lot of times we do that. We jump around and, I hear all the stories, but then we fall into the trap of listening instead of really trying to apply things on our own to see what works. If you're going to follow what someone says, do your back testing on demo first. Anything I'm telling you, do back testing on demo first. Don't believe nothing I tell you until you try it on demo. When you try it on demo, you find when you find out that it works, then that's when you can say, all right, I'm gonna give him the stamp of approval. I'm gonna use this now. And that's what you do. Going back to the whole looking at the candle. Unfortunately, there are a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different strategies that are taught in Forex. I mean, there are tons of strategies. In fact, I had someone who someone messaged me someone someone messaged me the other day. I think it may have been yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, and they asked me. I think it was on Instagram somewhere, but they asked me if my strategies were my strategies. And I'm kind of, I was kind of tickled by that. The the message came in, and I was a little surprised because well, no, I wasn't really surprised. I mean, it was a little I guess the message didn't um, when I first got the message from, I suppose this was a gentleman. Um, it sounded like he was being a little rude, but then I just realized that okay, it wasn't. You know, he wasn't being rude. He really just had a question. He said that, listen, I bought someone else's course, and come to find out it was what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name? The Morrow guy, the Steve Morrow. He said it was Steve Morrow's course. He said he downloaded the stuff and his name was on it. He said, you know, and so he basically, long story short, he didn't get the proper training. So he looked me up. Don't remember how he found me, but I'm sure it was YouTube, somewhere online. He looked me up, and he's interested. And it just amazed me that, you know, rather someone analyzing the market for themselves, they would repackage someone else's material just to, you guys know what it is, it's just to make a buck. And that's what, unfortunately, that's what sets a lot of people apart in this game, because there's just a lot of people who are not you know, I would say one hit wonders. Oh, I got a good trade. Let me expose this. Or they're just I'll say, you know, people are not in your best interest. You know, they don't have your best interest at heart. And that's the reason why I move the way that I do, because I can't allow people to change the current or the flow that I have. And I move this way because I'm confident about what it is that I do, what it is that I know. If I wasn't confident, I'll let people say things and I will become, you know, moved by it. I'm not shaken by that stuff. I know the markets. There's a reason for everything. Going back to when we first started, yeah, I mean, besides the fact that there were some technical issues I was having right before we started, I could have started literally at 5 o'clock. But someone chimed in and they said, well, he's teaching us patience without doing it directly. And I thought that was funny because, you know, sometimes we have to learn the patience side. And that's what long-term trading will do, will teach you patience. Now, if you guys know anything, you guys are interested in learning how to scalp the Forex market, okay? Unfortunately, from this point to this point, in every market, you guys already know the market goes up and down. You guys know that, okay? And you guys already know that if you see the market doing this, and you see the top, you see the bottom, the logic is, why go against the grain if you see what the market is doing? It's real simple. See, that the problem with a lot of traders is they have this money that's burning in their backside. They're like, man, I got this money. I'm about to rough the market up, this and that. See, I do everything for a reason. I had this training at 5 p.m. because I know a lot of you were anticipating the market being open. Everything is done for a reason. That market can wait. Trust me, the market will still be there when we get done. I could have made it very convenient and had training at 12, 1, 2. No, we're going to have it when the market opens so that people can learn to be patient. See, I'm a long-term trader. I'm not rushing into no scalp. I don't need to scalp the market. I trade long-term. I let my trades run. But if I wanted to scalp, I'm going to scalp. But it's only going to be at the perfect times. I'm not going to get in because the market is moving. Now, we all know that although we see this yellow line going down and up and down and up, this is like a line chart. We all know that the market didn't necessarily move in that fashion to get from point A to B. All right, we know that. The market could have done something like this. Made pullbacks along the way. Then it got down. Then when it came up, pulled back like this. But overall, the market is still going down. It's still going up. It's still going down, and so on. Which would, at the end of the day, create the bias or the high, the low, the open, close, or open, close, regardless of which direction it's moving in. Now, we have to realize when it's best to get in. Something that I teach, and I teach very well, and it's, Lord knows, it's a very powerful strategy. It's two powerful strategies hand to hand. The perfect entry strategy and the stay in your trade strategy. Perfect two strategies. See, regardless of what, I mean, I could talk about a million topics tonight, but there are still people who are going to see this. They're going to see, let me clear this off. They're going to see a large candle like this. Actually, let's do that over. They're going to see a large candle like this. Maybe another one like this. So, you know, the market is going down. And they're going to miss this candle. And they're going to be itching to get in on the next one. But the bottom line is, I want you guys to pay attention. Sometimes I talk in riddles. Sometimes I talk in code. We have to know where the market is coming from in order to know where it's going. If you see the direction that it's coming from, and you know that it's been going in that direction for a long time, it's obvious that at some point it's going to become exhausted. Now, I can tell that to everybody who's under the sound of my voice right now, but there will still be people who, just because this candle is large, and just because they think that the momentum will still go in that same direction, because there's no way that candle is going to stop when it was that large of a candle that preceded this candle. There's no way this candle is going to stop. There's no way this candle is going to stop, is what most people, they would think. Let me get in. I didn't tell you what was the deal with this candle. I just drew it here. This candle may not have been done yet. What happens when you see this candle, but then by the time that candle is over, let's just say it's now this. Wherever you got in, you done lost that one. Yeah, you lost. Because more than likely, if you're not being told by me, more than likely you probably got in like right here, and you probably put your stop loss, like I said, if you're not being told by me, up here. So that knocked you right out. You lost that money. You're done. So if you do a number of those over and over again, what's going to happen? Eventually, you're going to feel like, oh, I need to get back what I lost. And what lots of traders, what they do is they'll continue adding to that bad position. Because they don't think there's no way on God's green earth that this candle, with all this momentum, supposedly, will go back up. So they got in here, they're in the negative. So instead of them using the stop loss, they say, well, let me not use a stop loss. Let me just add in another position, because I'm sure this market is going to continue to go up. So let's say they added a position here. Now you talk about strength. I already told you guys about having strength in the market. I told you guys about leaving yourself, or being anonymous in the market. It's key. When these markets start to pull up really fast in a situation like this, every step of the way, someone's going to say, I'm going to add in another position. I'm going to add in another position. I'm going to add in another position. And you'll watch your MLP decrease fast. And guess what? They're sitting back and they're like this. Got him. We can pull him out quick. And that's what they'll do. They already see how anxious you are to get your money back from down here that you add, keep adding it in. Like, this person don't see that we done showed him. I shouldn't erase it, but you guys saw what I was. You guys saw what I did. You know, you guys saw the candle. The market turned around, start going up. You know, it started going up, and if you didn't recognize that there was a level right there, you're doomed. Doomed. Gone. I had someone recently tell me when I made the post about this training today, someone said, listen, I'm a pretty decent trader, but man, I struggle with support and resistance. Oh yeah, I did too. I once struggled with support and resistance. I was intimidated. I was intimidated, and that was probably one of the last things that I had mastered before really, um, really, showing off in the market. Meaning, being successful. That's what really changed everything. But it's not just about S&R. It isn't. There's a lot of mental that goes into trading. Just to let you guys know, you know, when I was losing in the forex market, blowing accounts, and a lot of us can attest to this. We have the same story. We share the same story, same walk. It was only due to my bad decisions. I couldn't blame nobody else. I made bad decisions. But my decision, it was a reaction to something. I mean, those decisions that I was making, they were related to how I was thinking at the time. See, my thinking was all over the place. I really didn't have a strategy. We're talking, when I first got started, I was all over the place. I really didn't know. What helped but also hurt me from the beginning is putting money inside of my account going live. I didn't do demo first. I did what probably a lot of people do. They jumped in live. Now when I talk to a student, they say, man, I haven't traded live yet. I commend that person. I say, man, I really appreciate you. I commend you. Because I know I didn't do that. But the problem was I put money in and I saw the reward right away. I had no Forex money management plan in place, none of that. The problem was, which, like I said, it helped me. It's a two-edged sword. I got in on a good run. And we're going to find a lot of good runs in the Forex market while you're scalping. You're going to find it. But you have to know that those good runs shall end. They will end. You cannot expect the market to continue to go down, 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 down. Logically, you put 2 minutes out of a ring, one would be pretty dominant, while the other would most likely, hopefully if he's smart, would be blocking. Dodging, weaving, you guys know. Doesn't necessarily make him a loser because that's his strategy. It's called defensive boxing or trading. He's allowing his opponent to wear himself out because at some time he's going to become exhausted and then he'll have enough stored up energy to put him against the ropes. And if he moves swiftly enough, he might get him against the ropes when he's really exhausted, hit him a couple good times, and take advantage of him. And be victorious. But you have to have some type of defensive plan in place. I could visualize the market in my head. I can see the market in my head. I can talk about the market just as if I'm looking at the chart. I can create different models of how the market may run and have an exit plan for each of them. Now, if you don't believe me that the market will get exhausted, try it this evening. The market will become exhausted, and that little sale that you were running, it will come to an end. You're going to notice that the profit that you've made, if you didn't take it already, it's going to start to dwindle away until you're at break even or until you fall into the negative. And then that's when you will probably be more anxious to take your money, which you're not really taking your money. You're just taking back control of your money because they took your money because you decided to close. You were quick to close your trade when you were losing rather than taking it when you were making it or when you had profit, which is another problem. I'm not here to put everybody on shame tonight. That's not my plan, but that's my plan. I need for you guys to feel bad about how you trade. Some of you don't have to feel that bad because you're excellent traders. You're great traders. You just, you need a little tweaking. Maybe you need a little logic. A lot of you can find great spots in the market to enter. But you haven't mastered knowing when to get out of your trade. Now, I can't go over everything tonight. We can't go over the perfect entry strategy and knowing when to get out of your trades. But there are certain things you just have to read between the lines. And I'm talking literally. Am I right, Antoine? Literally. You have to read between the lines. If you can't read between the lines, you will fail. The fact that I guess the best thing about scalping anybody's market, the best thing about it, and like we're gonna start our training. We're gonna start our training for the low risk. The actual training, we're gonna start that training for the actual group for the Soda and Easy Forex Corner of the Market Group. We're starting that training this week. And the best thing about it is the fact that you can do this from a low risk standpoint, not exposing yourself to the market makers or anyone who most would say people are trading against you. The thing about it, if you guys think about the market on a whole, there are millions of traders all across the world. You can either be in three groups. You can either be in one of three groups. On a buying end, the selling end, or no end. And what I mean by that, either you're going to be trading and buying the market, or you can be trading and selling the market, or you're not going to be trading, just watching the market. So whether you're on the buying end, the selling end, or no end, because you're not trading at all, you're just watching, you're going to fall into one of those three categories. So let's do away with not trading at all, because we're here because we want to trade. So whether you take a buy or a sell, you have to have a reason to be in that market. And it cannot be just because the market it gave us a strong candle up or it gave us a strong candle down. That isn't enough. All right, that isn't enough. We don't want to do that. We want to be smart about it. We have to, when trading on the forex market, we have to know that the market will go up and it will end, and it will go down and it will end. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at. It's gonna all do the same. If you're looking at, matter of fact, we're gonna go over to the charts real quick. Let me go in real quick. You guys can still hear me and see my charts, right? You guys can see my chart? Chime in and let me know if you guys can see the GBP NZD daily. Okay, great. Just want to make sure. All right, appreciate everyone chiming in. Let me know. Okay, I'm going to disable. All right, so if we look at, and this is what I, you know, we're not going to only talk about scalping. We're going to talk about long term too. We're going to get into some things tonight. So I need for you guys to sit back and really relax, because this is not going to be just about scalping. It's not going to be just about one thing. We're going to go over, you know, a few things, because listen, it's to make money in the forex market is easy for me. All right, it's very easy, and it's all because of how I look at the market. Okay, you know, I happen to love this pair. You guys know this is my pair of choice. I absolutely love this pair. Okay, we're gonna take a look at something real quick. You guys know this was the Brexit, June 24th, 2016. I'm one day off. Got to move it over one day. So we all know that was the Brexit. And we also know that, actually, I'm going to put that there for, that's like out of bounds. But I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to change the color and make this green. I actually want to make it lime. This is a little too dull for me. I need some livelier colors. There we go. Make that lime. So this is like the out of bounds spot. This is, you know, where the market started to trend upwards. Okay. And you guys should see how the market didn't, you know, the market is following a nice trend to the upside. Okay. Very simple. In fact, what I'm going to do this. Let me get rid of all of this. Let me just plot on this. We'll do this. This is what we'll do. Forgot I had this one on this system. So that's, I'm going to change this to red, meaning this is like the out of bounds. We're going to make this one somewhere in that area. Make this one lime. All right. And we also see that we have a nice trend going to the upside. Okay. Very simple. There's not a whole lot to this. It's just, this is just what it is. I'm actually going to make this one thicker. Need that to really stand out. Let's shrink this down, and this is what we can see. Okay. Now, something that I've always talked about. I've talked to my students about this pair, me feeling like this pair is going to go long. And obviously, if you guys look at the levels that I have drawn on, this is a template that I had created. You guys should know you can create a template here. You know, you can plot on any type of indicator you want, save the template, you know, and it'll be locked inside of your MT4. Plug it into whatever you want. This template right here is strictly for the GBP NZD. It has the prices that's on here, so it would only load properly inside of the GBP NZD. Okay. When we zoom in, you guys will notice that I captured every major level that I could find along the time that I've focused on this pair. All of these levels are great levels besides up here. See, the market started when the market was above this aqua. This is like the median, so to speak. We're going to make this one thicker. Okay, that's like the median. See that? And I could probably make this one like the median too, but this is like where the market, I would capture this level before this one, because this was just the Greece bailout, and that was just a fake out move. All right, jammed up 2,000 pips, back down 1,000 pips. It kept going up, hit the same level, went back down. All right, we look at the monthly. We can see that the market has always been going down. This level right here has been a critical level way before 2015. Okay, which is why 2015, when it came back to that same point, the market said, let me run up to that level, touch that level, and come right back down. And the next month and beyond, it kept going. All right, creating a new lower low, or let's say a new low, when it came down to here. And this is the trend that it's been on, which we only see, let's say, a couple dozen months, but it's not giving us much detail, but it's in a trend going up. But however, when we go back to the daily, we can see all the detail. See everything. We can see everything that this market is doing. How it actually pulled back, all that stuff. We can see the famous level right here. I can move this over some. I'm going to leave it right here. But this level right here was a very critical level, which is why, you know, earlier this year, the market, when it bounced off this point, and then when it came above it and bounced off of here, which is like right at the top of that level, my students already knew the market will go up. See, we already knew that. Some people just catching on to that. Well, I'm not going to say that. Some people may have known that, but I didn't expose that until recently, you know? And these are levels that I plotted on. I mean, I plotted these levels on a few years back. And the same levels are being respected now. I could probably add a few more in between here, but really the market wasn't doing it. The market was just ranging in there. So it isn't doing nothing. But the same levels that were used once before, this are the same levels that the market is using now. And for some, that's too confusing because they don't know how far the market is going to go up. Well, the market is going to show you how far it's going to go up. It's going to show you when it's exhausted. See, the way I look at it, this market, the bulls were against the ropes. You guys get what I'm talking about now? They were against the ropes. And then the bears came in, roughed them up. Look at Friday's candle. Whoo! Friday's candle. Woo! Roughed them up. And the market is still going, it's still going down. As of Friday. Right now it's going up. But I want you guys to know, I don't know what people focus on when they scalp the market. But when you're scalping anybody's market, you need to learn to read the candles. Because the candles are going to tell you a story. They're going to tell you when the market is exhausted. They're going to even show you when there is a fake out. If you have any type of sound wisdom, if you have any logic, actually I corrected it. If you have any wisdom and logic, you would know that the market will hit familiar areas and double back. Who wants to go down a road that's unfamiliar? I mean, there was a lot of flooding on the East Coast. And if you're caught on a back road, if you get caught on a back road in North Carolina, one of them real dark roads, and all that standing water, yeah, okay. It's rough. The market was against the ropes here. The market was against the ropes here. The market was against the ropes here. It doesn't matter how many times it tried, it failed to stay up. Logically, if it failed to stay up, it's going down. Party's over. Party's over. I could, never mind. But party's over. Oh gosh, party's over. So, what did the market do? It went back down to a familiar level. All right, it went back down to a familiar level. But there's no guarantee that it's going to continue to go down. There's no guarantee. And this is where us traders have to know, okay, maybe I'm going to get out here. It's 2:30. Let me just get up out of this trade, man. Let me get up out of here. I don't have no time to be playing with these folks. You know, whatever your strategy is, I don't know. You know, I know what it is that I teach my students, but I don't know. You know, from a general standpoint, if you have a reason to get out of the trade, you get out of your trade. You know, get out of your trade. I don't want to. I don't want to lead anyone on. As far as scalping the forex market, just like the market went up and it's coming back down. I look at trading. I look at scalping as like, you guys ever been inside of a car that broke down? Maybe let's say it's a manual. You guys know some cars when they break down when you're driving a manual or stick shift, you can sort of give it a little push and then try to get that thing started when it's rolling. You know, I know motorcycles are famous for it. You can't get it started, you just coast down the hill and it'll start up. You know, if it doesn't, just apply the brake. You know, and that's that's what scalping is about. Scalping to me is like, you know, you get that push going down the hill, and you know you're rolling now, and all you need to do is turn that ignition and fire it up, and then you can keep on going. So I'm using that as hold on one second. I'm using that as an analogy. And one second, ladies and gentlemen, let me see something. No, don't worry about it. So I'm using that as an analogy. And basically, when you get your start in the market, scalping the market, a lot of people they email me and they say, hey, listen, I've been taught to trade off the 15-minute, off the 1 hour, off the 1 minute, off the 4 hour, any and all. I've had people tell me they scalp any time frame, all time frames. The bottom line is, it can be done, but the rule is, if there's a general rule, and the rule is, the smaller the time frame, the noisier the chart is. So if you think about it, you have the monthly. You ask yourself, okay, if I want to break down the monthly and go down to the daily, well, that's 30 to 31 times smaller. So you have a lot more candles to look at. And then imagine breaking that down to the 4 hour or the 1 hour, the 30-minute, the 5-minute, the 1 minute. For those of you working up a way to try to trade in 1 second. I mean, the farther you break it down, the more you have to, it's going to create more opportunities, so to speak, but they're going to be shorter-lived opportunities. But on the flip side, the higher the time frame, it's going to be less risk, I guess I could say. Far less opportunities, but they're going to be longer opportunities. Which also, you know, each candle is weighted a lot heavier. For instance, if you guys measured, if my system didn't go down on me, if I drew a line from here to here and measured it, if I had a candle the size of between the distance of these two lines, well, it may be 500 pips on the daily on the GBP and ZD, but if that same size candle was, if you measure that same size candle inside of the, I don't know, 15 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, whatever, it will be far less than 500 some pips. Same size candle though. And that's something that everyone should know, but some people may not know. So, in theory, the volume on your candle, on your larger time frame, carries more weight. Which is why some people, they have the illusion also to say, well, I'm not going to trade the higher time frames because the higher time frames, you got to have a lot of money. No. It's not true. If you had a solid money management plan, and if the price was the same price on whether you're looking at the monthly all the way down to the 1 minute, for those who are entertained by that one, truthfully, it's all the same. But you have to follow the money management rule. So whether you have a small account or a large account, you want to make sure you follow the rule of, you know, whatever the rule is, whatever you should be trading, you follow the rule. If you're going to be scalping anyone's market, you want to make sure that you have enough cushion. Because if that market was to go against you in any kind of way, you want to have the cushion to cushion the blow. Again, I'm going to say this. I believe that a lot of you here are already excellent traders. I believe most of you just stay in your trade too long. There may be a number of you who are brand new to trading Forex. You may be brand new. You may be brand new to trading Forex, but with a little logic, sometimes even common sense, it will tell you what you need to do. If you see the market pulling back, why do you want to? I'm gonna tell you guys a story real quick. Maybe this would tie some things in. I had a student who, actually I gotta go back because that system conked out on me. So I had a student who, and I was sharing this with my students not long ago, but we were talking about trading the news. I was showing my students how to trade the news, and I was telling my students about a gentleman who I trained back when I first started training folks. And I just showed everyone how I trade the news. If I was going to trade the news, how I trade the news, like non-farm payroll. And I was telling them how this gentleman, whatever time frame he was looking at, I think he said he overslept and he woke up, and it was a few minutes after the news had been released. So, you know, the big candle already took shape, and the candle he saw was, I believe it was a bullish candle. Had a huge wick on it, or it had a wick at the top, which at first glance, that means there's a pullback. The market went all the way up, it's pulling back. And all he saw was, oh, it's a huge bullish candle. Let me get in on the buy. That's what he did. And the market kept pulling back until it wiped him out. Okay? And it's unfortunate, but that's what happens. You don't want to get in on a move just because momentum shows you that it's going up. Like, you don't want to get in on a sell at this point. You don't want to do that. I wouldn't do it. I know I wouldn't do it. So I'm not going to teach anyone else to do it. I had someone recently, they say, well, why is it that none of your students ever post any of their winnings? And I said, I don't know. I mean, that's on them. They don't have to post any winnings. I don't know why. Because, you know, most people they post when they win. They post, and you know, and they say, hey, listen, you need to get trained by this person. But it's not about that over here. I don't care about that. People are going to be attracted when it's supposed. People want to join when they're supposed to join. If they don't want it, they don't want it. I'm not going to force anyone. Listen, I don't need the headache. If you want it, you want it. If you don't want it, then fine, you don't want it. But I'm not going to chase you down for it. And but the gentleman, he said, well, listen, if you know, how can I trust that people are really making profit? And I'm like, I don't care what they may be doing. I mean, I care what my students, but I care what they do, but I don't care if they choose to expose that they're a student of mine, they're doing this and doing that and making profit. But if you get enough people saying that from various places that this guy, he's the truth, and that I've done this and I've done that, I mean, for one, I don't necessarily need people to edify what I already know. And please don't take it as me being arrogant or cocky. It's just, it's the confidence factor. Sometimes we're only moved when we see the crowd doing it. But I want people to see enough of what it is that I'm showing, and with what I'm telling you, if it makes sense, I want people to know that this is all planned from the start of this training to the end of the training. Is all planned. Well, as of right now, it's all I'm going with the flow. But I'm a thinker, so I know what time it is. I know that people are gonna go against the grain because I go against the grain. I go against the grain. I go against the grain because I don't want to go with the flow of things. I don't believe in that. Some things anyway. And actually, let me rephrase that. I want to go with the flow, but I'm not gonna go with what everyone else is doing that's supposed to be right. So I want to move with the market makers. I want to move with the current, because that's the way you make currency. But just because everybody else is doing one thing, that's not for me necessarily, you know. And I just I didn't necessarily clap back. I just let them know that, listen, I don't follow that, you know. I'm not. You have to believe first. You have to believe that it's possible. Once you believe that what I'm showing you is it's good, you stamp that, then I'm good with that. But if you don't believe it, we have nothing to really, like, there's nothing we can do, because for one, you have to believe, as the student, you have to believe, or as the onlooker, you have to believe that it's even possible. Some of you, unfortunately, I have to say this right now, some of you really don't believe that it's possible to make money in the Forex market. That's the unfortunate part about trading Forex, because some people don't believe it. It's sad that some people do not believe that you can actually make money in the Forex market. And then they would see that many times when I say, listen, watch this pair is going to do this. You know how many people have messaged me that I don't necessarily expose, because I don't have the time to do all that, just to say, well, listen, I told you guys, look, all the people who said they did this, and, you know, people don't want all that. People don't need all that attention sometimes. And I don't have the time to publicize all that. But I put out the trade alerts telling you this market is going to do this. And if you see that I'm getting it, I'm not the only person. There are people who are also getting it because they follow what it was that I'm telling them. And they're not even students. So, long story short, if you're following and you're watching and you believe, that's half the battle. All I have to do is show you a couple things. Show you a couple things and let you see, listen, this is all that the market is doing. It's not doing anything. It's just doing this. All you have to do is know the in-between. You have to know where the market is going. One, you have to know these things. You have to know when not to get into, or we have to know when not to trade a certain pair. Just to keep it real with you guys, the GBP and ZD is going down. I'm not in on that trade. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want to see if someone could get it right. Now, if you're a student, I may have echoed this in training, but it's more so for those who are not students. I want to ask this question. I'm going to go to the chat, and I want to see who would actually know this. I just told you guys I'm not trading this live. Okay? I'm not. I'm not trading the GBP and ZD at all. Hold on, let me go. Where is the... Okay, here we go. So I'm not trading the GBP and ZD, but could anyone tell me why do they think I'm not trading the GBP and ZD right now? If you think you know, type it in. I'll tell you if you're right. Please type it in. Ooh. 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 I love it. 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 I love I love it. 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 A lot of you typing in. A lot of you typing in from the on Instagram. Phone going off. And yes, I'm gonna go ahead and close it down. But yes, I mean, I was thinking. You see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of you are already good traders. I know you guys are, because trading is really freaking simple. This stuff is simple. Like, they should have, man, when I tell you guys, they should have never created MT4 or trading where you can trade. They done messed up. They didn't know a brother like me was out here. I'm trying to tell you. So guess what? Shoot, if I know it, I don't care. We all can get it. We all can get it. So let's all get it. But yeah, it's at a point where, for one, my belief, and I want you guys to know this. See, I don't worry about missing this opportunity. So I don't worry about that. I don't worry about that because I know that there are other opportunities. So from a logical standpoint, I'm not going to be like those who may be green, so to speak, or those who may be trading out of, trading because of their emotions. I'm not going to get in on this market because Friday's candle was super crazy. I'm not going to get in on it. Would it be nice to? Yes, it would be nice to. But it would have been even better getting at the right time. It's the wrong time to be getting in. I'm not going to get in on it. So I'm going to pass up on it. I'm not going to do it. So I don't worry about missing this. Screw that. I love the pair, but I'm not going to just get in on anything. All right? I don't care. Small account, big account, whatever. I'm not going to do it. So I'll wait for the perfect setup. And when I get it, I get in. I don't play around. I'm not going to play around with it. So that's, yeah, you guys hit it right on the head. That's why I wouldn't get in on this. I'm not in on it. I knew where it was going. We talked about this in class. We talked about this in class last week, before it started to tumble heavily. But see, because of my belief, and my belief is my belief until I can't believe it anymore, meaning if this market decided to go down below this level right here, then I'll be like, dang, I could have got in on it. But I'm not going to lose no sleep off of it. Okay, it went down. So, not the end of the world. If you know anything about correlation, if this is going down, then something else is probably going up. So, that's the thing. I don't necessarily worry about this, missing this, because, see, I don't go for these moves. I don't go for those moves. For those of you who remember, I go for big moves. I want big moves. I want big boy moves. Big boy moves that are coming from major places. See, when I catch this, and I can trade that all the way down from the top to the bottom, because I see the setup, oh my goodness. And that's why we go back to the drawing board. I talk about keeping yourself anonymous in the market. We have to learn how to trade regardless of the size account you have. Do not let the size, do not let your size, or don't let the size of your account deter you. Don't let it force you into trading too heavy. Because then you expose yourself. Don't do it. We have to learn how to take control over our account. If it's your decision to trade with a $100 account, I mean, I get it. Not everyone is in a position to have a large account. I get it. But if you're not fortunate enough to have a large account, and you have to trade a smaller account, then you need to pacify and baby that account the right way. Because I would assume that it's either one thing or the other. Either you're not willing to lose, or you're not willing to fund your account with a lot of money because you don't want to take the loss, or you don't really have the means to do so. And either way, we're not in this market to take losses. So going back to the drawing board, going back to where I said why I don't use a stop loss and take profit. If I give myself out the gate with enough strength to withstand any type of turbulence in the market, personally, I feel like I shouldn't have to use a stop loss. And as a long-term trader, why does it make sense for me to use a take profit? Because usually when I see the market going in a direction, I'm trading it long-term. I'm talking about, days at minimum, week. A lot of times it really depends on the pair. Sometimes you guys got to remember the broker you're trading with, depending on if it's positive swap or negative swap. So, all these things come into, you have to consider them. You have to consider them because it makes you a better trader. All right? If there's nothing to be traded, don't worry about it. You're not losing. Don't worry about it. The bottom line is you can live to trade another day. All right, and it's a must that we decrease the likelihood of a loss. We have to, and the only way to do that is by trading with as much strength as possible. I cannot tell you guys what certain things I cannot reveal in this trading. I cannot, and I will not. I can't do it. I will not do it. I want you guys, from a general standpoint, to arrive at a comfortable level that you should be trading at. I have to be real. I have to be real. I have to be real. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. No, I'm going to be real. I'll be real. I have a lot of students. A lot of students who come from that little 3-letter acronym. You guys know that training group. 3-letter acronym. Y'all don't hear me though. Anyway, a lot of people complain that they're taught to over leverage your account. There's a reason why. There's a reason why I'm leaning on strength. I'm going against their grain. I have to go against the grain. If you're coming into this arena looking to make money, why not learn a solid strategy to keep your money and grow your little money. See, the more you grow your money, the higher you can trade volume-wise. See, everything that comes fast is not good. Nah, it's not good. I remember being young. I remember being young, you know, I mean, we were all grown folks here. I remember being young, and I mean, you guys know how it is when you're young, fresh. You know, you trying to do this and that. Cute little girls walking around. You know, you guys know you 12, 13, 14 years old, and you know, you want to get it. And it's a two-way street. So, you know, the girls may say, you know, the boys this way, but the boys say, well, you know, the girls this way. But as a young man, you know, we're looking to the idea is, man, we're young and we're hot and fresh. We're ready to go. So if being young, if you're like being freaky and stuff, we're all grown folks here. It's one of them things where you don't really know it till you get older that, man, I was going after all of the, as what they would label a woman or a person, I'll say, who's like really promiscuous. They would label them as being a freak. It's not until you get older, or let's say wiser, that you realize that I was doing it just the opposite. Don't nobody want no one like that. When you get older and you want to have a family, you don't want that stuff. You don't want that. See, that type of person, those type of people are labeled that way because of, you know, what society thinks. But when you're young, you're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about labels. You're just trying to get yours. And unfortunately, when you get older and you become wiser, you look back on it, that's when you understand it. That's when you overstand it. You're like, man, like, yeah, you won't get it till you get older. So now, when you tie all that into, like, all this is trading is real life stuff. This is real life. You look at all the stuff that you experienced in life. You're like, man, like, if I let me tie that into this trading game. If I'm trading and I'm scalping and I gotta put in all this I gotta trade this heavy to receive this back. Yes, it may be good. The return is fast. But it makes me think about, if you run up into someone who's like so free with, oh, come on, let's get it on, come on. And you like, man, it gotta be, it can't be this easy. But yeah, you don't know what that person got though. Then sometimes it's not always everything that's fast isn't good. You realize, like, man, I see why. Could it be this way with everybody? So it's like, you know, it sort of make you think. And that's the same, you know, you sort of look at that, you look at trade and you're like, okay, if I'm going to trade on the market, I want to have patience. I want to let the market show me what's going on. And then when the market show me what's going on, then that's when I'm going to react. Because I don't want to smack the market around, because then you don't know if the market really deserved it. You know, if I smack you down and the market's like, but I was going down, like, you wasted your time. Bad analogy, I know, but it's real. You know, we have to learn to let the market act first and then we react. Don't be so quick to make moves beforehand. And that's whether you're scalping or going long term. Okay, very important, very important. And you know, like I said, I'll go back to what I said before. This entire training was everything is done strategically. Everything is said for a purpose. I want to get into the minds of everyone here. You know, we have a couple hundred people here. I'm sure that by the next couple weeks, it's going to be a couple thousand people who watch this video, or thousands of people are going to watch this video. And I'm saying things out of order purposefully so that people can take bits and apply it, so that you stay, not necessarily to lose people, but to keep you on edge. You never know what I'm going to say, and you never know when that point is going to come. So he or she who impatiently leaves, you might just miss it. Because I don't go in any specific order. I just flow with it. All right. And those of you who are students, you guys know how I operate. I move differently. I used to follow a syllabus. We don't do that now. All right. So let's get back on course. I tied in some examples, real life examples. So as I said before, I told you guys that, you know, if you're losing in the market, it's really because of your bad decisions that you made. We have two decisions to make: go up or down. If your reason for getting in up or down doesn't line up with what's going on, then you're at a loss. So if your thinking is that, okay, I see that this candle is quite strong, so I'm going to get in on a sell. And yes, you may be in profit for a couple minutes, a couple hours. But what happens tomorrow at 7:15 a.m.? Will you still be in profit? Will you still have your trade open? It all depends on, you know, how some people, like I said, I don't know how you guys trade. I just know that if you miss the bus, don't try to chase it down. Let that bus go. Catch the next one. Because you should have been on time to begin with. We have to follow a discipline. All right? If you miss it, pass up on it, wait for the next one. It's going to come around again. Even if it's a couple days. You know, a lot of buses, they shut down over the weekend. It's okay. It'll come again. When it does, then you get on it. But don't rush the move. Let the move come to you. Let the move reveal that it's going to go down some more, or that the market is, or that it's going to go up some more. Okay? It's very important that when you're scalping anybody's market, that you get out at the first sign of the market's turn. Okay? A lot of the statements, a lot of what I'm telling you guys, it's general, but it's accurate. All right. A lot of times, if we're looking at the market, we notice that the market, yes, it came to this level and it dropped from this level, but it stayed at this level for a minute. And you could have just gotten out of this market at the first sign of it not going up anymore. Wherever that may have been, whatever your reason for getting out, let that be your reason to get out and rock with it. Don't stick around. So I have a question for you guys. I'm gonna turn on the let me turn on my chat. If you guys could type in and I'm gonna get a consensus of what everyone has to say. What's the reason why you lose in the Forex market? Be honest. What's the reason why you lose in a Forex market? And you guys do me a favor, just message inside of YouTube, not on Instagram, because that's a bit of distraction. That's a bit of a distraction. Interesting takes I'm looking at. Very smart, very smart. All right, I'm gonna close this out. I noticed that a number of you put in impatience, not knowing when to get in. Impatience. Now, I'm gonna explain being patient. Now, I'm going to say this, and I want you guys to deeply comprehend what I'm about to tell you. In order for you to gain patience in the market, you have to know what it is that you're looking at. Okay, if you don't know how to trade the Forex market, then it's almost like you're shooting your own foot, you know. You have to have patience, or you're going to gain patience by your comprehension, by the realization of how the market is moving. Okay, without that realization, you're going to be impatient. If I know that this market is all it's going to do is do this, and then it's going to do that, I'm going to stick to what it is that I believe in, because I know how the market moves. For instance, this market at present, it looks like it's going down. It does. It looks like it's going down. At present, it looks like it's going down. When we look at the monthly, the overall move looks like it's going up, although the current candle, you see the pullback. The 1 week, same thing, but you have what one may consider to be an engulfing candle, which may show or indicate that there's additional momentum that should be or could be expected on the way down. We already know what the daily looks like. 4 hour. 4 hour. We see the stall. We see the market still going down. The 1 hour. We see the heavy stall at this level. We see the market eventually going down. We see the stalling, and we have now even more detail of the market going down. We see the long period of stalling. We see the market going down. We see the extremely long period of stalling, and we see the market going down. And then finally, we see this long period of stalling. But then we also see the market going down. Now the illusion is the market is going down a lot farther on the smaller time frames, and the move down is, when the market was in that consolidated state, as I would call it, it was just going up and down, dancing at that level. The illusion is that the market was going down longer on the smaller time frames. But that's wrong. The price is still the same regardless of whatever time frame you look at. It's just that you're getting a fraction of the higher time frame. So, the smaller time frame is a fraction of the one higher than that. Remember, from the monthly to the daily, you have 30 to 31 times the amount of candles. Actually, lower than that, because you're not counting the weekends. But you guys get what I'm saying. You're increasing the number of candles, but the price is staying the same. You're giving more detail, but the price is staying the same. So everything's going to be adjusted to create the illusion. But at the end of the day, price stayed at this level until it was ready to go down. So we have to recognize all the details that are being revealed. There are things that they reveal. There are things that they don't, they don't necessarily want us to know everything. But if you're paying attention, you can catch anything and everything you want out of them just by looking at the market. I mean, I can look at certain pairs and I say, well, I'm not going to trade this because it's not set up right. I think I see what it's doing. This isn't really my pair, so I'm going to wait until it comes back around. I'm going to wait until it sets up a nicer, I'm going to wait for the market to create a nicer setup. And then I'll consider, mentioning this to the group, our training day, or our trade alert training day. So this is something that we have to keep in mind. The fake out or the illusion. They've given us reasons to become anxious by giving us a number of different time frames. All right, and we have to remember that it's all a setup. Okay, it's all a setup. What we see is what it is. We cannot expect it to be any more. It's what it is, and do not second guess what your eyes are looking at. You see what's going on. Okay? You can see it. One second, I'm not sure why. Let's see, there's a little lag within my live screen and what I'm saying. There's a lag going on. Okay. All right, let me see. I don't know if you guys can hear me now. Let me see something. All right, can you guys hear me? Can you guys see my screen? Do you guys see my cursor moving around in a circle? Okay, great. See, on one monitor it shows that it was stalling, and then on the other one is moving, so I'm not really sure what that's all about, but it's okay. At least you guys can see. That's all that I wanted to make sure. All right, so let's all right, so I'll pause that again. Now let's see. Now, I touched on something earlier that I didn't get into. I touched on the fact that, these candles will tell you a story. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. Every chart will tell you a story. What each of you, all of us, what we have to do as traders, we have to know what time frame works best for the type of trader that we are. You know, if we're someone who doesn't have the time to look at the charts, we shouldn't be on the smaller time frame, because the smaller time frame, the market will twist and turn about. We go all the way down to the 1 minute. Look how many ups and downs created just at this level. If someone saw this as being a good level for the market to go up from, the market did go up, but it kept going back down. So there were a number of fake outs on the 1 minute, because the 1 minute, there's just a lot of different, there's a lot of noise. Versus looking at a higher time frame, you're going to get occasional bounces from that level. If it's consolidated, you'll have more, but that comes with the territory. You then have to ask yourself, why is the market consolidating at this level? Maybe because it's a level. Okay, now these levels that I drawn on, these are levels that were, these levels are dated, but they're oh so accurate. Okay, imagine trying to trade this. The market went up, and let's say you don't have the time to be trading the market, and all you saw was the market going up. What if someone said, I'm going to strip you down of your 1, 5, 15, 30, 1, 4 daily, weekly, monthly, and I'm just going to spin the wheel, and you're going to have to trade off of whatever time frame that it is, but your chart, your platform will not reveal what chart it actually is. Yes, if you had a timer, you will be able to determine based on the open and you know, when that candle opened and when it closed. But if you didn't have enough common sense to do that, you would base every engulfing candle. I mean, you would expect every engulfing candle as being a reason to get in and stay long forever, or stay short forever. And that's not the truth. Engulfing candles can happen anywhere, even during a consolidated state. And that it doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at. In fact, engulfing candles inside of a consolidated market is probably like the worst candle to really focus on. I mean, well, that's the candle you're going to get more. You're going to get a number of engulfing candles that are larger than its preceding candle in consolidated areas that will mean squat diddly. And the same thing for the smaller time frames. You're going to get the same thing. If you saw the market come down here and you thought, oh, this thing's going to keep going and going and going and going and going. If you said, well, let me pop this trade open, I'm going to run to the store real quick because I'm trying to make some chili tonight. And you run into traffic and you run into this and you don't have it hooked up on your phone and you can't monitor it. And, you know, lo and behold, you try to look at it on your phone and you can't really see much because your phone, your screen is small. Or even if you have a large screen, you don't want to be focused on that while you're trying to, you know, run to the store. And you come back and your account maybe is not blown, but you're in a negative. It's because you got in based on a chart it was basically a fraction of what the market was really doing or showing you. It only shows you a fraction of what was really going on. So that market at that level, yes, it did go up. You would have been in profit. You would have been in profit. in profit. But the bottom line is, the time frame you're looking at, it was far too small. And it's not the right time frame to be trading if you can't watch the charts. So if you're scalping, if you're looking at the small time frames, you're looking at the large time frames, and you don't know what to do, you have to realize what type of trader you're going to be. If you're going to be a long-term trader, you need to be able to look at the market with a larger scope. If you're a small or a short-term trader, you have to realize that there are going to be shorter moves in one direction. Okay? The shorter moves will, if you do it right, it will make you lots of money, but it's, you have to have some type of structure and discipline to arrive at that dollar amount. Because ultimately, if you have a $500 account and your goal is to trade at a much higher volume, then you have to arrive at that account size that will carry that dollar amount. And that's what people are so quick to do. They're quick to trade really heavy, and then they get wiped out. They lose it all. Instead of taking a small account, yes, if you have to, and trading and building it up incrementally, and then taking that account and continue flipping it. We have to do that. Okay? So remember this. If you're going to scalp anybody's market, doesn't matter what you're looking at, if you're going to scalp anybody's market, you have to make sure you know where the market is. You have to know where the market's going. And the first sign, not necessarily sight, but the first sign of that market not going in that direction again, you need not to be in that market. Okay, you need not to stay in anybody's market that's not going to perform at the level that will allow you to make the most money. Because these markets, like I talked on, they become exhausted. And quite frankly, something that I lean on heavily, extremely heavily, with my students, is that the market is only going up and down. That's all it's ever doing. And it's only going up to a level and back down to another level. That's it. That's all the market does. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Let nobody tell you otherwise. The market isn't doing anything besides that. You can plot on any indicator you want. I don't care what you plot on. All it's going to do is, really, you don't need none of this on your chart to be able to see that the market came to this level and is having issues and is dropping down. You don't need all that stuff on there, but hey, I want to make it look pretty, so I'm going to make it look pretty. And I'll do that. But really, you don't need all of that. You don't. The market is only going to go to a level and turn around. But you have to know when to get in. That's key. And unfortunately, it makes more sense to trade from a smaller time frame when you're scalping the market. So guess what? We have to believe in our levels more than anything else. We have to really believe in what it is that we know as a scalper. Because if you don't, you're going to get it handed to you. Because remember, if you're scalping anybody's market, the market can run and bounce in between one level, a number of, let's just put a level right here. Look how many times it bounced between this one level over a series of a few hours. You wouldn't know which way it's going. You wouldn't know which way it was going. So we have to know direction. Some of you struggle with direction. I get that. You guys need definitely need a deeper level of training to get that type of realization. This particular training is not. I'm not going to cover that. You know, I have to keep it. I have to be real with you guys. And I said this before, actually. If you can realize the overall trend, then you're good. But then when you have and you know your levels, that's even better. But then when you also have the confidence in what it is that you're looking at, and let no one tell you otherwise. That's what really tips you over. Sometimes when I look at markets, I'll give an analysis and I'll say, hey, listen, this market is going to do this. It's going to go. I'm expecting this market to go up, but it may be a short-term up move. It may not be a super long-term move. It may be a short-term move, but it's such a good move. I have to expose it on. I have to talk about it on your social medias and YouTube. But I don't provide all the details because I have to keep it real. In this position that I'm in, people will contact you and say, "Hey, listen, should I get in on this right now? Should I get out?" Like, I'm no signal service provider. I'm not telling you what to do with your account. I'm not telling you to get in at this level. To get in at this price, set your stop loss and take profit. That's not what I do. I'm going to give you the heads up. I'm going to give you the alert. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, listen, watch the GBP/NZD. It's at that level of resistance. Expect that market to chop around, and then guess what? It's going to drop. Not for long, though, because long term, I'm expecting the market to go up. So, of course, you have 100,000 people looking at the 1 minute, 200,000 people looking at the 5 minute, 300,000 people looking at the 15 minute, 400,000 looking at the 30 minute, and so on. All these people looking at different levels, and they're seeing different things, so everyone's getting a different perception and idea of what's really going on. But I pay attention to the higher time frames because it's going to give me a solid. It's going to create that bias. And I'll know better not to look at, the smaller time frames and expect the market to make a landslide out of the GBP NZD. Like, no, it's not that serious right now. Now, if it ran to that ascending support level that I drew on, you guys remember, if it ran to this ascending support level and it kept going, then that's something else. That's when I have to, come back to the table and say, all right, well, okay, it dropped down below there. Now let me look at any neighboring horizontal support levels, and then we go from there. See, I'm giving you guys a general but very powerful idea of trading because it can be applied everywhere. And I believe if I can just train your eye to see what it is that I'm seeing, all you have to do is believe in it. And all you have to do is manage your money. Everything else is done. Like, just here, take $1,000. This is what I see in this market. I'm not expecting this market to do this. I'm expecting to do this, but not before it does this. And here you go. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Chances are you will listen. There's a chance that you may have been afraid you didn't trade at all, so I'll come back a couple weeks. You still have the same money in your account. But I would expect for you to have, made something. Because if the overall move is going long and the market is currently going down, then we're not expecting it to go down that far. So in theory, I'm expecting the market to be back up at least within the next 2 weeks. But that's me telling you without telling you. I told you guys, I talk in riddle. You gotta pay attention to what it is that I'm saying. Now, so yeah, this market, I'm expecting it to go down, but I'm not expecting it to go down forever. I'm expecting this market to go up some too. All right. So that's what trading Forex has a lot to do with what it is that you see. I was messaged by someone, I want to say maybe about a week ago, and their energy was way off, way left field, and their belief was that, at least that's the way I took it. Their belief was that there's no way that someone could be profitable, or I'll say as profitable. That's what he really wanted to say. There's no way that I could be as profitable as I am in a Forex market. Okay. So all the times that I say publicly that the market is going to do this and it doesn't, and I show you that I'm trading that it isn't possible, very possible. The reason why everyone is here right now is because you guys have an ounce of belief that it is possible. And in the same breath, the gentleman, he said, hey, listen, could you provide me with your FX account, my FX broker or whatever, my FX book account? And I said, heck no. Heck no. Why would I even waste my time? when you put out enough content where you get people who watch and they see, forget those who their whole thing is to just find fault and try to bring you down because you're doing something good. Forget them. When I first got started, I would never reveal. I would just do screenshots. I wouldn't, you know, I would analyze the charts and I would do screenshots, and at some point that wasn't enough. So people would say, hey, listen, I need to see daily confirmations, this and that and this. So I started showing them my daily confirmations. And I remember the last one that I cared to show, because I started to make a lot of noise online, and it was when my 863 video pips in 12-hour video that I made. There was a lot of people who I'm sure there was a lot of people who then became aware that, you know, how possible it is to make, you know, a few $100s in a short period of time. You know, the 863 pips was like $500 in 12 hours. That wasn't bad. But I kid you not, even when you show daily confirmations, even when you show your live accounts, and even if I cared to show, if I had my stuff set up on MyFX, the book, whatever you call it, why would I even waste my time? People are going to doubt and criticize and ridicule you regardless. But the bottom line is, the knowledge that I know, the wisdom that I speak, and it comes to fruition in these charts, can't doubt that. So you let people just talk because those people were talking, because they're not trading. They're not trading, and they can't trade. Or they're traders, they're good traders, but they want to take all the shine. I can care less about it. We all can shine. Like I say, listen, I'll give out a free trade alert. We can all make money. Like, let's get it. Who cares about it? Let's get it. So that's just my 2 cents, ladies and gentlemen, on the idea of, you know, we come together like times like this. We're here to learn the ins and outs, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who use this platform, who use Forex. Forex has become the hottest new trend for the come up, and unfortunately a lot of people they use it as a way to you know, get over on folks. And just like I said from the beginning, I like to disable even my comments in here. I had to delete one person because he or she used profanity and, you know, vulgar language, and I had to delete this person. Don't know who it was, but I had to delete him. On YouTube, the same thing. I can care less about what people they type on Facebook and Instagram. I got too many people who support me there where I don't worry about that. But on YouTube, and even on those areas, people, they still, you know, they try their hand. I don't care really, but on YouTube, it's a different animal. I've seen people advertise and do this on people's posts. So you cut them off from the ground up. You don't let them do that. You know, people ask a lot of times, well, why are your comments off? Why should I leave them on? Yeah, listen, my number is there. You can dial 619-451-6508. Hit me up. You can text me, call me, you can email me. Scott@SoldOnEasyForex.com. You know, SoldOnEasyForex@gmail.com. I'm not hiding. You know, but people hide behind comments. That's what they do. They hide behind them. So I'm not going. No, you're not going to advertise your business and try to make me look bad when I build my business from the ground up. No, you're not going to do that because you mad that that I'm doing something that you want to do. No. So we keep our focus, just as I preach, we keep our focus on winning. All right. You chop people's arms and legs off so they can't mess up anything you have going. All right. So that's why, if you guys ever, I know some of you may have messaged me and asked, well, why are your comments off? And that's why, really. I've seen people over the years, I've seen people comment and advertise their business, and at the beginning that was annoying. It was very annoying because people really want to know, and I'm passionate about helping people. So, like, why are you doing this? So now it comes to the point when people, they do it on Facebook and Instagram. I got so many other followers and people who really respect what I do. They see the passion. They'll chime in. They'll say stuff to them. So I don't necessarily have to say anything unless it's absolutely necessary. But then there are other things you can do to mitigate that. So I thankfully, I want you guys to know it's one of these things. One of these things that you have to know, it comes with the territory of being like in this position where people, they see you doing something that most people either fake like they're doing or most people they can't do. And the reason why I make a lot of videos and I talk is because I know that talk is cheap. But if I tell you that I'm going to do something, or I tell you that the market is going to do something, and you see that the market is going to do it, eventually you're going to start believing. This move right here, I had so many people. This move, when the market came down from the Brexit, boom, went up, boom. So many people joined off this move up. They say, oh, no, I'm sold. Because they already saw that, I called the market going up, although I was trading it down. And I saw the market. I said, this market's going to go up. I know it's going to go up if they go up. And it did that. It went up. And it came down and it kept going out, kept making lower lows. See, if I had to analyze this pair, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit. This market gapped. This was the Brexit. The market gapped. When it came down, it hit this level. Backed up. So let's expose this level. See, this was a good level. Okay? But it went sideways at this level where the gap was and dropped to here. So this was an important level because it was look at this level. See the yellow, see the red? This was an important level because it was an all-time low. See this? Look left. See that? That was the all-time low. Let me put that between there, going to monthly. That's this. This is after the Brexit. It came back down to the same level. So when I saw that and I knew what time it was, I put it out publicly, said, yeah, this market's going to go up. And it went up. And so many people, they said, oh yeah, this guy, he's the truth. I need to get with him. And ever since then, the market hit off that same level a number of times. See that? Ever since then, this gap right here, let's do this. Let's push this down to the top of the gap and push this up. Let's make this thin. And push this up to the top of the gap. I mean the bottom of the gap rather. And let's look left. And now let's take this and move it all the way over. And you look at how the market bounced all, went down, kept going down, created a new low, bounced at the new low, then it went high. See, that's a low, then that went a little higher, then it kept making higher highs. But I knew that in May that year, I knew that the market wasn't going to break through this level. And I said everybody said, listen, don't expect that market to break that gap. It's going to hit that gap, it's going to come down, and guess what? I traded my baby 1,300 pips down to this level. And then the market chopped around because it's the same level, the same all-time, what was once the all-time low. And then it finally broke back up, broke above, and then it came above and started using the gap as the level. See that? It came down a little farther below, came back up. It came down below, make people think, oh, it's going to keep going down. Get a pull back at the top, it's going to keep going down. Nope. If you know what I know, that was just a fake out. The fact that it hung around at the gap, let me know it didn't break the gap really. It came back above. The fact that it went back above, let me know that this was confirmed now that it was a fake out. Then it came back to the gap, chopped around, broke back down. I don't care if it broke back down. It didn't drop down. It broke down to the next level. Then it came back in one day. It went down here, went back up the same day. That lets me know this gap is still important. Then it came back above, chopped around. Came up, bouncing around, using the same, we have the same levels recognized. I can put a level here. Then it kept bouncing off the same gap, came back down to here. See, when it came here, came up, came back down to the same level, I knew, oh, it's not going to go down because it wouldn't go down. Then it came back up, chopping around at this level, came down, went back above, came back down. It didn't go back down there. Powerfully went up and it kept going. So guess what? Okay, if it goes down, so what if it goes down? I know where it can go to. And I don't need Fibonacci to tell me so. Fibonacci. Man, who cares about Fibonacci? Be your own Fibonacci. Now, all Fibonacci is support and resistance levels anyway. So you create your levels. You believe in your levels. All right? I don't want you to believe in Fibonacci. I told you guys, I go against the grain. All right? I go against the grain. I don't care. All right? I've seen too much in these charts to be caught up on some Fibonacci. And that goes against what a lot of people believe in, because people, oh man, just plot on your Fibonacci and you got all the levels you want. This and that and that and this, and you're good. Okay, you could do that. But no. Don't take the lazy man's approach. Don't be lazy with it. Don't allow man's calculations to get you to use it, and then you fail, because the market will go a little beyond that level and you think it's going to keep going down and it turn around and go back up, and then now you lost. See, there's always a sliding scale. The market's not going to always do exactly as you think it's going to do, when you think it's going to do it. All right, so that's the one thing that that I love about this pair. It's a fantastic pair, and I think that I mean, this move alone, 8,300 pips alone, was fantastic, and that's what really I think a lot of people took notice when this trade came around. They took notice because I was basically capturing every moment of the ride down. multiple accounts, killing the market because I knew the market wasn't going to go back up no time soon. Everything was lined up perfectly. When I tell you guys, you got to learn long term before you learn short term. Short term, yeah, you may have the illusion that you're going to make money fast. That's not the case. It's not always the case. You can make money fast. But if you're being taught to do it, to over leverage your account, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're shooting your own foot. Eventually, you won't be able to walk. So you might as well just learn it the right way, learn long term, get an idea as to how the market really moves so that it can set the precedence as far as where the market is going to go. So it's a no-brainer by the time you get to the short-term trading. Now all you have to do is learn the critical steps to trading. Because really, the low-risk side of it is not trading too heavy. You don't need to. Because the theory is you just need to trade at a volume that's going to give you the cushion to grow your account. You don't need to trade heavy. In fact, as I tell my students, when you come to get training through me, don't worry about trading live. Learn how to trade first. Anybody could just open up the trade panel and close your eyes and pop open some trades. Anybody can do that. And if you don't know how to trade, well, that's what you're doing. So I'm not going to teach you to do that. I'm going to teach you how to trade first. I'm going to show you how if you're going to go in on a sale, you have a reason to get in, as taught in the Perfect Entry Strategy. And if I'm going to tell you that the market is going to go long or it's going to go short for a long time in either direction, you're going to have a reason to trade long because of to stay in your trade strategy. You're going to see what the market is doing. You're going to see the why. And we go back to that all the time in training. You have to know the why. Why are you trading that still? Why are you still in this trade long? Why are you still selling the GBP and ZD? If your answer is because you didn't have a reason to get out, that's all they needed to know. Now, if I can conclude with, okay, I see a reason to get out, show me why you saw that you didn't have a reason to get out. So we could be on the same page, because maybe it's something I'm not seeing. You know, I'm human too. I miss some things, you know. But once you show me, and once I know, oh, that's what you're looking at, okay. Well, maybe I wouldn't feel that way anymore. You know, I may need to adjust what I look at. But just want to let you guys know that's something that's you know, we have to learn the why. We have to know why we're getting in, why we decide to get in the first place, why we decide to hang on to this trade. You have to learn how to be patient in the market. I don't think I stress that enough. I don't think I lean on that topic enough in training, period. I talk on it, but I don't think I lean on it enough. But patience is so important. Just because you have money inside of your account, it doesn't mean you can trade the market. And just because you have money in your account and you're not trading anything at the time, it doesn't mean you're not a Forex trader. You're just a Forex trader with money in your account, able to trade live, but you haven't found a reason to get in. So don't feel bad if you know people who are trading and they have trades running, or they open up trades the same day that you're looking and you're not finding anything. Don't worry about it. Unfortunately, with the internet being what it is, social media and all that, people are at the height of being anxious. Oh man, I got stuff to do. I gotta pay this bill. I gotta do this. I see this person over there crushing the market. I don't even want to see that right now. I got these bills I gotta pay, and so people are anxious. Man, screw that. This bill due on Monday. I gotta pay this bill now. So what that does, it turns into a bad situation. So we don't want to do that. I believe that everything happens for a reason. If trading Forex was really meant for you, and if this was what you were supposed to do, then in anything that you're doing in life, you should trade, or you should do it in a way that it's going to be profitable, it's going to be logical, it's going to make sense. So if you're doing it in a way where it's going against everything that makes sense, you're doing it all wrong, because now you're putting yourself in a deficit, and that's not the intention. Trading Forex it's all about candles. You have to know to read them. There's a high, there's a low, there's an open, there's a close. It's like a book. It's going to tell you what's going to happen next. So we have to learn to read each candle. And timing is very, very super important. Very important. We have to know that looking at these charts, and we have candles. We have to know that reading each candle, if every candle is going to tell you where the market is going, then how could anyone be losing? When you think about it, how could there be so many losers in Forex if the candles are supposed to guide us? It's because people are trading with the current momentum and not looking at the overall. And if what's happening right now is happening right now, and this is where it started, and this is where if this is where it started and this is where it ended back up here, then you can't necessarily trade the in-between. You have to know why was a reason to get in down here, and why was a reason to get out up here. Some things that, as a trader, we have to sit back and really analyze the charts. I know that earlier I talked about me going to the bank. You guys remember I talked about that, and it sort of made me think back when I'm going over the charts, and I look at how I'm able to look at these charts and how I'm able to inspire people and affect the lives of so many people that I've never met before, probably never meet. Is there are so many people in distant countries that that's just how it is. When you are in a space, a common space, and you run into people who you've affected somehow, it's a very it's a little moving, I'll say. Since being a mentor, since being in this position where I inspire people, I've run into people in different cities, even in times when I'm trying to be as I'll say anonymous. I really don't want all the attention, and people still like, man, you're that guy, I seen you on YouTube. It's wild, but I was just I was inside the mall. Most of you probably know if you're from the DC area, you're probably familiar with Pentagon City. And I was inside of Pentagon City, and I'm walking around, and I'm thinking that I'm sort of like, okay, hopefully no one will recognize me. Well, lo and behold, the guy, he walks up to me with his wife, and he's like, "Man, what's up, man?" And give me a handshake and gave me a hug, like, "Man, what's going on?" And I said, do I know you? And it was, I didn't come off being rude, but I didn't want to fake it. I didn't want to, make him feel uncomfortable, because I kind of felt uncomfortable, because he just ran up to me and was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" Smiling. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that I can reciprocate the energy that you're bringing. So let me know what it is that you like. Where do I know you from? So he said, I told him, I said, do I know you? And he said, "Well, I know you, but you don't know me." And that's when I realized that, oh, in my mind, he said, "Yeah, you're on YouTube, man. You do this, man. So you're out here?" And I told him, I said, "Well, I'm actually from the area." And I said, I still got family all on the East Coast, and I still got family, distant family in the DC area. But whenever I come back in town, I like to hit, Pentagon City, Tyson's Corners, places like that. And he said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Man, it's nice to see you, man." He's really excited and happy. And I said, "Man, that made me feel good. Like I'm happy to see that, people know who you are, but it makes you feel good. But on the other end, it kind of makes you feel a little uncomfortable, because it comes with the territory." But there was another time, plenty of times, when I run into people who know me. I'm having issues with, you guys probably remember, banks. They pretty much went through this whole transition where they were getting rid of the old debit cards and giving everyone cards with chips in it. So I'm at the ATM, and I have various accounts, and I use different accounts for different reasons, and I'm pulling money out of one account, putting this out of another account, and for some reason I can't pull money out of this account. I'm like, what's going on? So and I'm like, I know I have money inside this account, so I'm trying to move money over, and I couldn't do it. So I'd ride around to the teller side instead of the ATM, and I said, "Listen, I'm trying to get money out of this account, and I can't do it. So what's going on?" And he said, "Man, are you Yusef Scott? Is that? Aren't you the Soda on Easy Forex guy?" And I was like, "Oh man." So it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable, but it made me realize the position that I was in, and the importance of being, and I'll say moving in a certain way, taking care of people. While it was a little uncomfortable, it was a point where I felt like, wow, like this guy, he has access to my money. And that ain't comfortable. But luckily, it was just a simple shift of funds from one account to another account, where the majority of my transactions, monthly transactions, are held or processed from. So it wasn't a big deal, because the account that he had access to, at least from the banking standpoint, it didn't. That was just I'll call it a buffer account. So it wasn't a big deal. But those moments, they occur over and over again. Of course, a lot of times when I'm on the West Coast, and definitely when I'm in New York, there's always people that have seen me, or we started a conversation, And they're like, man, what is it that you do? Like, you seem like, what is it that you do? And based on my comfort level, I'll let them know, and then it always turns into a nice situation, which is always good, because sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable. All of this, of course, because of the position that I've decided to be in. Not pressured, not forced to be in this position to be able to help people, but I've decided to help people see what it is that I see, because I believe, and I know, and I see what people go through online. People are not being taught logically. Now, I know that some people really have lots of folks' best interests at heart, but then again, others, they're not in a position yet to be able to help people. So I realized that when it comes to my logic, or let's say trading Forex, is really because of the logic. It's really that simple. The markets, it went up and the market went down. If the market went up and it was showing you it was stalling and it's not going nowhere, then obviously at some point it's going to go down. But people, because of us being people, natural, we're people. People are impatient. People are greedy. So people get in too soon. My strategies that I've created, they all have a strict rule to them. When you go outside of the rule, you can lose. Is my strategy 100%? No. Will it get you close to it? Yes. Do you have to follow 1, 2, and 3, or 1 and 2? Yes. And that's the strategy that I've created. And that's the strategy that my students, they love. It's a powerful strategy. I want you guys to know that while, my aim is always to help people, I want you guys not to be offended by my position in having a business where, of course, I mean well. I want to help people get ahead, but people have to put themselves in a position to help themselves first. All right, so I don't want you guys to be offended by my business choices. That's why I don't force myself on to people. I believe that's a very, if you have a solid program, or you have a solid product, you should never have to force yourself on to people. You should never have to flood someone's inbox. In fact, any student here right now who's a student of mine, who's been with me for a couple years or whatever, there's no one here under the sound of my voice that could say that I've spammed them or flooded their inbox or reached out to them for them to join me. You would never get that. One thing that I never did, and it's because I have a solid system. I don't need for anyone to edify what it is that I believe in already. So I believe in my strategy, and I let my strategy do the talking. I let my results do the talking, really. That's what it is. The results going to talk. It's going to speak volumes. And that's what people, they like to see. People are moved and inspired by the results that I create. And but sometimes I got to cut that out, because like sometimes I kind of feel like I add to the anxiety that people, they have. People, they rush into these trades because, oh man, this guy, he made this, and I gotta catch the move. So I kind of hold back sometimes because I don't want to add to that. But You know, it is a business, and, you know, I want people to look at things logically and just know, hey, listen, it's a business. Of course, it's a part of the marketing. Got to do it. At the end of the day, that's kind of how it works. And but hey, listen, I'm going to teach you how to do it right, and that's the bottom line. Whether whether you're a student or not, I'll teach you how to do it right. I mean, whether you ever decide to become a student or not, I'll teach you. I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to hurt your account. I'm going to give you information that's going to help you and get you to think outside of the box, because the market is only moving in a certain direction until it's done. And then it turns around and go in the opposite direction until it's done. Then it turns around and go in the opposite direction until it's done. But we have to know that the time frames will be your enemy. All right? That they're going to be your enemy. You have to arrive at a certain time frame that's going to help you, that's going to give you and produce enough profit, that's going to move in your direction enough, that's going to allow you to say, all right, well, I'm done for the day. I've traded the market for a couple hours. I'm done. You can't trade everything. Just take what you can and get out the market, or stay in the market as long as you can, as long as you see that there's a reason to. Do not expect that the market is going to always go in your favor. Okay, if you feel like the market is going to go up, it's going to turn around eventually. So you have to know that it's going to turn around. So don't try to stay in forever. Okay. Let's see. One second, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I know that a lot of you have, a lot of you are interested in learning how to scalp the market, and I really don't. I don't want to be I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not anxious to train anyone who's not ready to be trained. And if you're gonna trade on the Forex market, you don't have to see it my way, but at least try to trade long term first. Okay, try to trade it long term first. Don't jump into short term trading before long term. Now, you do whatever it is you want to do, but do yourself a favor and learn long term first. It's an easier. To me, it's easier because you don't have the constant ups and downs. Because most people, they trade off the smaller time frame when they're scalping. So long term, if you see the direction the market is headed in, like we see the market is going up on the GBP and ZD, all we have to do is find a great place to get in so it can go up. Whereas that trade can be held from today all the way until the spring. Literally. I mean, it was 2016 when the market was at the all-time low. Look where the market is now. It's more than 2 years ago. Well, let's call it 2 years ago. Just about 2 years. 2 years ago, the market was around the 169 level. And today, the market is around the 195 level. Bounced off the 200 level. All right, the 2.00 level. Or really 2.00 level, just about. So because of that, we can kind of gauge what the market is doing. Yes, there were a number of ups and downs along each day. I mean, along the days, along the months. But imagine if this area highlighted, if you had a break, you see this, watch this. That's a lot of area to try to realize which way the market is going. Look, I mean, look how many times it went up and down, up and down. How do you know? That's a lot of stuff. Whereas on the daily, we see what the market was doing. We can see that. It just makes sense to me. You know, it makes sense to trade long term first, because I know that, hey, if I have a limited amount of money, yes, it may make sense to certain people to get with someone who's going to help you over leverage your account and grow that $200 to what they normally say. Well, you take $200 or $5,000 in 4 or 5 days. It's possible, but man, that's a lot of work. that's a lot of work. That's a lot of risk too. So I'm not going to do it. I'd rather just, you know, put some money inside the account, know where it's going to go, pop open the trade, and say, let me watch this. Let me just watch it. You know, I'm not gonna rush it. I'm gonna watch it and go from there. And I know some of you may say, well, easier said than done, Scott. It's not that easy. You know, I'm still new at this. I'm just tell you guys, it's, you know, just gotta be careful. Just be careful. You know, replay this and watch it. Be careful with your entries. You know, and remember you stay in your trade as long as you have a reason to stay in it. Price action, it works. It will work, you know, to a degree, because sometimes they'll fake you out. But then again, it depends on what time frame you're looking at. If you build up your account, this is the plan. Build up your account, grow it into the you know, the size account that would allow you to trade at your desirable, or I'll say most desirable dollar amount per pip. And then you can then, because you would have mastered long term, you could then learn to scalp. Because remember, whether I scalp off the 1 minute or the 1 day or the 1 month, the price is still the same. The price on the GBP NZD daily is still 195,648 dancing around. Don't matter what time frame you look at, it's still that same price. But I need to realize, what is the market really doing? And then I need to, if I decide to trade, if I decide to scalp from a smaller time frame, I need to look at, okay, what's the market doing on this time frame? But you have to remember, regardless of what time frame you're looking at, the market is still going up and it's still going down, Jack. That won't change. It can't change. It just looks different because there are thousands of candles. The frequency of the candles are much more, they're, you know, you get more candles. They're going to open, you know, more often. Only because it's based off of a smaller a smaller session, but the price isn't changing. It's still gonna be the same price. You just have to, now you have to read the market from a smaller time frame. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys know something before we get out of here. I'm gonna let you guys know something. I am planning to, which is another reason why this was important for us to have this session here. I am planning to have more sessions like this. One that you guys know, I'm actually doing a lot of expanding. Always forever growing. I'm doing a lot of expanding, and I'm entertaining a lot of different ideas. Okay, and with that, I want to be able to offer a I know that there's always going to be some folks who will never really, or I say truly, well, let me say this. I know there will always be people who's always just looking to, get as much as they can from YouTube, and that's fine. But I know that there will still be people who will take matters in their own hand and say, you know what, I need to get trained. I really need to learn how to trade the Forex market. And I do feel comfortable, so let me give it a go. Because of that, I am going to offer. I'm sort of thinking about this. This is an idea right now, something that I thought about over the last couple of days. I'm gonna get things set up so that I can offer some kind of free. I want to be able to do this more often, because I know that I have a lot of people who are looking for. There's just a lot of people who look for. There's a lot of people who are not fortunate. There's a lot of people who really support the Sudanese Forex movement that I can't really directly show my appreciation, because they're not a student. I can't talk on all levels because they're not a student. So I feel like I want to offer more on a free end, have a streaming service like this where I can provide you guys with, even if it's just the GBP NZD, that's my favorite pair. Analyze the pair, whether it's once a month, something like that. I'm thinking about it, because I love analyzing the pairs. I love analyzing the charts. I get really excited about it. You guys may have seen maybe inside of our training, I get really excited. Yeah, I get very excited, and it's fun. So because of that, I would like to do more of this. But I have to let you guys know I can't be. I have to be very careful with my approach, because there are people who pay for my service. All right, it's like you going to the dealership to get a tune-up. And you see the technician, he has a line and say, okay, all of you guys in this line, come on up, and I'm gonna give you a free oil change. We're gonna rotate your tires, and then you pull up, and they say, oh no, you gotta pay. And you're like, hold on, why? You know, maybe that's not the best analogy, but the bottom line is, if I provide all the details on the free side, then it takes away from the value from, you know, of course, those who are actually paid. And that's just being keeping it real. I have to make sure that I'm very tactful in my approach, and that I'm consciously training people so that I'm not you know, putting out information that people are paying for. They, you know, because at the end of the day, this is I'm having this training today alongside, or with the idea that we're going to have our first thorough low-risk scalping strategy training this week for paid members. So I have to be very careful with the amount of content that I deliver here, because it can cause a hiccup. But my thing is, I put out so much content, whether it's free or paid, people are able to make profit on either end. So I definitely appreciate you guys being here. Definitely appreciate you guys being here and tuning in. I think that this video right here was, what, 3.5 hours long. There's a lot of details in here that you guys can sort through, and you can make sense out of. I want you guys to know the illustrations that we had tonight, or this evening, is that they're nothing in comparison to what we have inside our ISU training, and that's just giving you guys the truth. Like I love illustrating things. Unfortunately, my other servers, it conked out on me, so I was kind of like at a standstill with illustrating, so it kind of threw me off. So I'm not able to use the GoToWebinar system on this system. So unfortunately, we did have a little bit of illustration. So hopefully, you know, it was insightful. And yeah, you know, hopefully for those of you who sat in on this, hopefully you guys took something away. Just please know that for those of you, because I had a few of you who actually, I see that I had a few of you who actually took advantage of the opportunity while we were in training. I know for certain that when the time comes for you guys to become a direct student, let that day come. Do not join a day sooner. You know, don't rush into something if you feel like it's not going to be good. Take your time. You guys I know a lot of you are brand new. If you guys are brand new, take your time and kind of look around first. Don't join in just because I'm giving something for free. You know, this is a free training, but don't do that. That's what a lot of people, they do out of emotion. Oh, I gotta get with this guy. Take your time. Look around, ask people around. Okay, how's this guy? What's this guy up to? You know, what's his story? You know, you don't want to make decisions that you're going to regret later, and that's what this is all about. That's why I give a thorough training with my students, because at the end of the day, I want them to know that I can tell you a lot, but I'm going to show you too. And if I can show you, then how could you doubt it? So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Just know that this training, it should be available as soon as we get out of this training. It should be readily available, so you guys will be able to watch it over again, I suppose. And yeah, we'll just be happy that this training was situated. Glad to have you guys here. So for those of you who took advantage of joining while we were getting this going, please know I'll get you guys set up as soon as we get out of here. It normally takes is make sure you sent the authorization email back to me. That way I can get you set up right away. I think I saw one student of mine in the messages. I think you said you mentioned that to get back with you. I do remember. We'll be getting back with you as well as soon as we get out of here. So everybody else, definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. I really do appreciate all of the support. Please know that I always tell you guys this. I always tell you guys this. I'm not going to put no information out on social media, on YouTube, that's not going to be accurate. When I tell you guys, if you guys know how I train, if you guys know my thinking, that's the thing. In order for you to really know what it is that I'm saying, you got to be around me enough. Because I sort of use riddles, I talk in sort of code, and you got to sort of pull things out of, you got to extract some of the guts of what it is that I'm really saying. Not that I'm not saying what I'm saying, but I'm saying what I'm saying, but sometimes I'm talking in a way so that you can put it all, you can piece it all together. And I know some of you here, you really pay attention to what it is that I say. And you can figure out everything that I'm saying. You can figure out everything that I'm doing if you just pay attention. So, you know, if you're able to do that, you can really, really get ahead. Okay? But I put out content on these in these different areas, trade alerts and stuff. You guys, if you're sitting here, you should be subscribed to the channel anyway. All right? If you're not already connected on social media, you want to get there too. Because sometimes processing a video for YouTube may take longer than making a quick 1-minute clip for Instagram that'll then post to Facebook. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to what it is that I put out, because sometimes I put out content and the message is buried within the message itself. You have to, if you listen to it thoroughly, you'll know, okay, he just gave a trade alert. I give out indirect trade alerts quite often. People don't pay attention. And sometimes I put out trade alerts and like GBP and TD, I don't even trade them for certain reasons. You know, this one just because I don't expect the market to go down that far. I expect it to go up more than down, you know, so I don't even want to get in on that. It's not even worth it. Trade on something else, you know. So just keep that in mind, you guys. Keep close tabs on my YouTube. I put out videos. Definitely want to check them out because you know, that's a way for you to grow your accounts. A lot of you message me, say, hey, listen, can you put out more trade alerts? Can you do this? Can you do that? If you just follow what it is that I'm telling you, you'll see that although the trade alerts the free trade alerts may not come as often as they used to, they come, but they're at times longer duration trades. But unfortunately, people, they jump out and then they want to get back in, and when they get back in, they get back in at the wrong time and they get wiped out. Then they lose all that they had before, all that they made before. Get that a lot. So you guys have a fantastic evening. Remember, I'll have this processed as soon as I get out. YouTube's going to process it anyway automatically. So as soon as we get out of here, it's going to process. You guys can watch it once again. I may more than likely post it on Facebook as well later. But I'm glad that you guys actually tuned in. For those of you who actually participated, chimed in with your comments, questions, I really do appreciate it. You know, your interaction means a whole lot to me. It makes me feel like, you know, we're all moving together, you know. So that being said, remember, for those of you who actually joined while we were in training, I'm going to send you guys, provided you sent me back your authorization email, I'm going to be sending you your emails to get you going as soon as we get out of here. And then you guys have a fantastic night from all across the world. I appreciate you guys. Once again, I'll see you guys in the next video. All right. Peace, everyone.